At the far end of a mountain village, where the roofs of houses leaned toward each other as if whispering secrets, stood a small stone cottage. Its windows were tiny, its walls weathered by decades of wind, but inside it was filled with warmth. There lived an old lady. She had no children, no husband, no wealth, no famous name. Yet people spoke of her with respect, even love. They called her the woman with the eternal smile. Every morning, smoke curled from her chimney as she lit a gentle fire. She cooked soup from the carrots, potatoes, and herbs she grew in her little garden. And as she stirred the pot, she hummed old melodies, songs no one else remembered, songs that seemed to come from another time. Villagers often came to her when sadness pressed on their hearts. They sat by her fire, tasted her soup, and listened to her quiet humming. She rarely gave advice, but when they left, their burdens felt lighter, because even when she had nothing, she smiled. And that smile was enough. Her days passed in rhythm, tending her garden, feeding the birds, patching her clothes, sweeping her floor. To outsiders, her life seemed small, almost invisible. But inside, her heart carried peace, a treasure so rare that many rich men never found it. One evening, as the sun bled into the horizon and the first stars trembled awake, she sat near her fire, humming a lullaby her mother once sang. Her eyelids grew heavy. All was quiet, but then 3 knocks echoed against her wooden door. She froze. It was unusual. At this hour, no villager came. Slowly, she rose, lit a candle, and shuffled to the door. The old hinges groaned as she pulled it open. There, in the cool night air, stood a traveler, cloaked, tall, with eyes like pools of memory. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice thin but steady. The traveler bowed slightly. "Just a wanderer passing by. But I've heard about you. They say you've lived a good life. So tonight, I bring you a choice." "A choice?" she repeated, her candle flickering. "Yes," he said, his tone deep and calm. "There are 3 doors. Behind one lies your deepest desire. Behind the other 2, only disappointment." The old lady chuckled softly, shaking her head. "I'm too old to chase dreams." But the traveler insisted, his voice almost musical. "Come with me. Just look. Sometimes the night hides more than the day can give." Her heart hesitated, but her feet, almost against her will, followed him into the forest. They walked until the forest opened into a meadow bathed in silver light, and there, standing impossible in the grass, were 3 doors, without walls, without roofs, just doors. One shone golden, bright as the morning sun. One was sturdy wood, polished and strong. One was old and rusted, scarred with age, its paint peeling, its hinges bent. The traveler spread his arms. "Choose one." The old lady studied them. The golden door glittered with promise. The wooden door seemed safe and reliable. The rusted one looked almost broken, forgotten by time. Her candle had gone out, but she no longer needed its flame. She stepped closer to the rusted door. The traveler frowned. "Why this one?" She smiled gently. "Because the most beautiful things in my life have always come in old, worn packages. My house is worn. My songs are old. Even this smile, it grew from old scars." And without hesitation, she pulled the rusted door open. Inside, nothing. Only dust. Only silence. The air was empty. The traveler tilted his head. "Aren't you upset? You chose wrongly." But the old lady simply laughed. The same soft laugh she gave the villagers when they worried too much. "No," she said calmly. "I came into this world with nothing, and I still have my smile. So I have lost nothing at all." The traveler hesitated, then swung open the other 2 doors. Behind the golden door, Mountains of gold and jewels that sparkle like fireflies. Enough to buy kingdoms, to live as a queen. Behind the wooden door, a tall mirror. In it, she saw herself, young again, radiant, with smooth skin, bright eyes, wearing clothes of silk and riches. The traveler's voice softened. You could have had all of this. Wealth beyond measure. Youth returned. Beauty restored. You could have been everything you once lost. The old lady looked, but her smile never faded. More than what? She asked. More than peace? More than soup cooking on the fire? More than singing to myself on quiet nights? More than knowing how to smile in the dark? She turned to him, her voice firm. No, I already chose the right door. With steady steps, she left the meadow, walked to the forest, and returned to her tiny stone home. Her fire was still waiting, glowing softly. The pot of soup still bubbled, filling the air with the smell of carrots and thyme. Her old rocking chair creaked as she sat, humming her forgotten song once more. The traveler stood far behind, watching the glow of her window fade into the night. For the first time, he understood the truth she carried. Sometimes happiness is not hidden behind golden doors. Sometimes it is found in the simple act of being thankful, even when the door is empty. The story of the old lady spread across the village. People whisper about the meadow, the three doors, and the strange traveler who vanished without a trace. But those who had sat by her fire before already knew the truth. Happiness is not about gaining more. It is about smiling even when life feels small. It is about choosing peace again and again when the world offers glitter and gold. And so her story became a lesson, not just for the village, but for anyone willing to listen. Be thankful where you are. Smile even when the door is empty, for sometimes that smile is the greatest treasure of all. And so, dear friends, our story comes to an end. The old woman showed us something precious tonight, that true happiness is not hidden behind golden doors, nor in treasures or lost youth. It lives quietly in gratitude, in peace, and in the simple gift of a smile. If this story touched your heart, stay with us for more. Subscribe, like, and share this journey so others can also walk through these magical doors of English and imagination. Thank you for watching Learn English Through Story. Yellowheart, now I leave you with one simple question. Backhand index pointing right. If you found 3 doors in the night, which one would you choose?